see a mother and daughter duo. We've never seen that before. And the daughter was sparkling and effervescent. She matched her mother step to step, and it was wonderful to see the tradition, continuing. And they followed a very traditional margam, and the program was compact, and it was wonderful.
Can you tell us how your new choreography has come about? Did you conceive the theme of Dvita first, or were you inspired by certain musical pieces that later led to the theme?
So this was specifically choreographed for a festival dedicated to the mother and the daughter. This was for the National Center of Performing Arts in Mumbai, and they had a mother-daughter festival. And so they asked me, and that was the time when Dakshina had come back from engineering school, and she had taken up dance seriously, and she was already dancing a couple of years, and so they knew that I had a dancing daughter, so they wanted something of this line. So that is how I choreographed Dvita. So Dvita was about duality of life. So we do 5 pieces, and in each piece I show a different kind of duality. And one of the pieces is specifically on the relationship between a mother and her daughter.
While handpicking the pieces for your production or performance, what types of musical ragas did you choose to best demonstrate the idea of duality, and why so?
So the most important thing was that we used 2 singers. And as you will see in the performance this evening, why we use 2 singers? Because again, to bring out the concept of Dvita, the concept of duality. And the ragas were, my first choice was the concept and the lyrics of the piece. And some of the pieces were already composed, like for example the Bhairavi Varnam, the Tanjore Quartet Varnam in Bhairavi, that was already there. The other pieces were, composed and choreographed. So obviously when you're choreographing an evening's performance, you look at the ragas that you say, A, they're not clashing, B, that they complete contrast when the next piece comes. So yes, we did keep that in mind.
This is more of a general question. Is choreographing a piece a collaborative process between the percussion, Nattuvangam, and you, or is it more of a one-sided process?
It's with the seed of the thought or the concept within the dancer first, because ultimately it is her concept. Ultimately she is the one who's going to dance. So definitely it was, the idea germinates inside me, and then as it goes, I kind of discuss with the musicians, and then it is a two-way process. But the first piece is there, and then once you're on the floor, once Dakshina and I, we have these 2 bodies in front of the mirror, and then we're looking at each other's, and then we are working. So then from there new ideas come out, and then we build on it.
I think I definitely agree with that. But what the energy that the musicians give on the stage, performing to live music, is completely different. I think you have a little bit of spontaneity when you're dancing with live musicians. So I think every performance differs like that. So you may have choreographed something with everybody, the rhythmic pattern may be the same, and what you're about to do, the lyrics, the piece may be exactly the same. But I think the variations within that are, every day is different.
Yeah, we're finding that out, especially in this tour.
Yeah, I think I really enjoy that.
Is it possible to have a dual style of music or dance presentation? Meaning, does this necessarily portray a deviation from what we have as the traditional banis?
A dual style of music? What do you mean by that?
Instead of following a pure specific style, is it possible to take different styles and merge them? Is that considered something that's a deviation from traditional standards of what we call banis?
Okay. So I don't believe in banis at all. Okay. Definitely you learn a particular style from your guru. But as you get more and more immersed in your dance, you make your own personal statement through your dance. And that's when I say it's your own bani. So it's your own style. So that has to come across. because then it will be like classroom dancing. It's exactly what you learned from your guru. Where are you contributing? Where are you adding to the evolution of the dance form? Where are you adding to that stream which has been flowing down, for centuries? So definitely, I feel there has to be a very beautiful coming together of various styles, which becomes organically grows into one beautiful style that is yours. So I believe in that, and I think that is what I have developed over the years, and which Dakshina has imbibed very beautifully. And as she's growing older, she's not copying me 100%. She's also getting her own style, adding her own statement to it.
How would you say your style is different from your mother's style?
Well, I'd say we're two different people. I think that's where it starts. We've all learned the same, body postures, the same hastas, mudras, the same way of depicting each thing. And most of the time I perform also what she has choreographed. But how she looks at something and how I look at something may be completely different. And when you dance on stage, you have to be convinced of what you are performing. And that comes only if you have your own little bit of individuality in it. Of course, when I learn from her, it's a complete classroom dancing learning. But then when I practice and I kind of make that piece my own, I think that's where my individuality comes in. So I think we're different in styles only because we're different people, which is, I think, true for everybody. No two dancers will dance the same way. It's like no two handwritings are the same because they're just different people.
How can you define duality, which is commonly interpreted as a metaphysical concept, to the common viewer?
So here, the Dvaita is different from Dvaita in this interpretation of the performance. So Dvaita is purely a Sanskrit term which means duality. So as I said, in 5 different pieces today, we are going to show 5 different kinds of duality, out of which Dvaita is one. So the last piece definitely is the Jivatma and the Paramatma, the duality of the human soul and the supreme consciousness. So that of course we are depicting. Then the other kinds of Dvaita is that we are depicting is one is Lakshmi and Saraswati. Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth. Saraswati is the goddess of knowledge and learning. So the complete duality of man's quest for knowledge and the man's quest for wealth. What is more important? What comes first? How do you balance the two? So these questions are explored in the first piece. And I thought it was perfect because we are two women. So one becomes Saraswati and one becomes Lakshmi. And so how we bring in the duality of two. Then the other thing is Sringara Bhakti, which is so strong in Vaidyanathan, duality of loving the God in a very physical way and also in a very metaphysical way, again what you said. Then the third one is creation and dissolution, Shiva being the one who dissolves and Parvati being the one who creates. So the female principle and the male principle, and there is creation and dissolution happening every second in this universe, and even within us there is creation and dissolution which is happening, and both are important. So duality means both are necessary, both are important, because it all came from the fact that the mother and daughter themselves they represent duality of life, because one represents the present and the other represents the future. But they both need to support each other, to complement each other, because at one time the daughter needs the mother more, after some time the mother needs the daughter more. So that is how it came. And then of course the main piece, the mother-daughter piece of how a mother and a daughter, how a mother suddenly realizes that a daughter has grown up and now she cannot be possessive. So should she be possessive, or should she set her free? What is the dual emotion that she goes through? And this is something every mother goes through, and doesn't have to be with a daughter, it can be even with a son. I think it's to do with every relationship. Are you possessive, or do you want to set free? What is the relationship that you have? So that is what we're exploring now.
See, for every dance teacher or every dance student, it's very important to notice the subtlety and the strength of the whole show. You saw that Rama and Dakshina they were so smooth, superfluous, at the same time very strong and so dynamic on stage. And this is what classical art is about. And I think everybody should watch them dance, and I've been following them.
Do you think it's easier for one dancer to portray two sides of a dual spectrum, or for two dancers to each portray one side of the dual spectrum?
It all depends upon how the choreography is. You know, for example, you must have seen Ardhanarishwara, half Shiva, half Parvati. Many times, two dancers do it. One dancer depicts Parvati and the other dancer depicts Shiva. And then the Parvati will come stand in front of the dancer, and then he becomes one, or he or she becomes Shiva and she becomes Parvati. But tonight she's going to do it as one person, where one half of the body is Shiva, one half of the body is Parvati. So it all depends upon choreography. So duality is about duets, but also we are showing duality through solos.
How synchronized everyone was, and I really liked how beautiful and graceful it all was. And also it was traditional, but it also had its own stylish element, which I thought was really interesting, because you don't usually see that with Vaidyanathan especially. And
what can you do to help a dancer develop an ease of transition between two distinct concepts?
You just have to be well rehearsed and practiced. You need to be convinced about what you're doing. And you mean to say after you finished one concept, then you go to another piece? Or are you still thinking about that piece and you cannot enter the next piece? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. But that's one of the first few things a dancer learns. Even in a Varnam, a dancer learns that. She's a spinning Naika and suddenly she needs to go into a Jati. Right? So even there she learns. So the idea is not to cut off. The idea is to maintain the sthai, maintain the constant emotion of that complete love and surrender for the Supreme Consciousness. And even in that constant state, you get into the Jati and then you get back into the Sahitya. So I think it's all about maintaining that equanimity within.
At any given point while composing this repertoire, did you both ever have opposing viewpoints regarding the choreography of a specific piece or concept? And how did you attempt to resolve this issue and understand duality in perspectives here?
No, Dakshina should say. No, I don't think so. No, not really, because I think there are some dualities which are quite obvious in life, and I think my mom has chosen dualities which everybody agrees with. See, everything in life is a coin. There's a heads, there's a tails to everything. Sometimes the heads and tails are pros and cons, and sometimes they're just two different sides which are not right or wrong. So I think she's taken very liberal topics which I think everybody agrees with both sides, those kind of things.
Any specific experiences that you recall during this time period that have helped you to understand this concept of Dvita in a more deeper manner?
In the mother-daughter scene, mother-daughter piece, the mother kind of sets her free and says, okay, now it's time for you to go. But you're still mine, but still you go. She doesn't like that at all. She's very sad when she does it. So even during rehearsal, she's like, face me.
It's not that, it's a very touching piece.
Yeah. Yeah. So she feels sad to do it. During rehearsals, and on stage she's fine, but during rehearsals she's like, do we really have to do this?
Dakshinaka, both your grandmother Guru Saroja Vaidyanathan and your mother are professional dancers. Did their caliber and stature in the Bharatanatyam art form inspire you heavily to pursue Bharatanatyam full time?
Definitely. I mean, I think that is probably the reason I even took it up as my career, because I think dance is not a career which is so easy to take up, especially in the Indian context, because you need the correct kind of family backing to first of all support this dance form, this profession, to give you financial support, for a lot of things. So I think if I did not have this family background, I may not have been able to take it up as a full-time career. So I would totally attribute this to them.
Has it been intimidating to be compared to them, or rather do you welcome comparisons and enjoy applying their guidance to your dance?
It's not intimidating, definitely. It's not intimidating. Comparing me to them, first of all, isn't fair at all, because I'm a million years younger and lesser experienced than them. But yes, I love to take up the challenge of dancing with them, because that pushes me to kind of do better. I think I work harder, and there's a little extra push I give to my dance just because I know that people are comparing me. So yeah, I think it works in my favor actually.
You have said that your choreography blends the intricacies of Bharatanatyam with modern day social issues. Could you speak about some of the projects you have undertaken to reflect your style of choreography?
Well, I'm an engineer by education, so I love science and I love technology. So I've done a couple of productions in dance around technological and scientific themes. For example, I did this production called Newton's Law of Karma, which basically says that Newton's third law of motion, every action has an equal and opposite reaction, which exists on the physical plane, is essentially what karma does on the metaphysical plane. So I drew a parallel between the two and used a lot of similarities, and kind of spoke about the whole concept of karma, explored what karma means in the Indian context, in the world context. So I think these are some interesting things that I thought they were interesting, so I picked them up. Another thing which I did was on the concept of astronomy/astrology. So the 12 zodiac signs, how they influence man. I mean, is it science or is it fate? Is it are we all puppets in the hands of fate, or do we make our own decisions? Is it all supernatural, astrology, you know, or the Jadakam and everything, the horoscope that they make for you? Or is it really a science? Are we really governed by those stars which are clustered together because of electromagnetic energy so far away in the universe? So, another production which I had done was called From Zero to Infinity. That is exploring the evolution of science and technology in the Indian ethos and how it relates to philosophy. Basically, technology and philosophy, science and philosophy go hand in hand from I think right from the beginning right till the end. And I think philosophy answers a lot of questions which science doesn't, but slowly science catches up at every stage. So that production kind of goes through that process as well.
Much has been said about your understated and very pleasing dance attire. Do you please share your approach to dressing before a performance?
Yeah, because over the years I realized that wearing too much jewelry then attracts attention to the jewelry of the dancer. So it's not so much the dance that comes out. And I mean, not that you don't see the dance, but otherwise, basically the concentration is, so I feel the dancer needs to be quite stark in her attire so that the dance comes out, especially the face. I mean, if you have too much, for me, I have seen dancers who wear everything and look beautiful and the abhinaya comes out very beautifully, what they want to communicate. But for me, I feel that the lesser the things, jewelry around my face, around my hair, the better it is for me. And so I think she also likes that style, so she also chooses to.
Also, I think you should do what suits you. If you've got a small forehead and you wear all of that, and then you're trying to show something with your eyebrows or with your face, and then the audience can't see it because it's so cluttered. So I think you have to do what suits your face, your body. I think that's important.
I just love it. I like the way they are putting in a lot of programs. In fact, I enjoyed Kathakali too at the Annenberg Center. It was very nice. And Bharatnatyam, amazing. I'm a Bharatnatyam dancer, so I just love it. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's very nice, and they need to bring because a lot of children learning, so it will be good if they bring.